Uko kuno aho pano mama wanna get it nice. I know food I meso, I know food I tebe, I know kaya marigi. Kama kwe doti kom, wengere doti kom usasari. Kama kwe anogaya mari.
Kamba kwe uyo, anotara mari, anogaya mari. Garai mamunzko. Paninya pano Jamnoda kunzwa Zvinotara pano Madiko kumunzwa Mugovane.com Kamba kwe vanogaya mari Vanotara mari vanosiya mari Kamba kwe vanotara fea kuti pamberi zvichafamba sei Vanoterere zvikubatsire mukufamba kwenyu zvikubatsire.
Right, 11 December 2021, and today I was supposed to be talking to Senator Kalipani Pugeni, and unfortunately he appears to have been unable to join me, and I'm very, very sorry about that situation. I hope that he'll be able to join us as we proceed with this discussion. So I didn't want to not do this because I moved around a lot of meetings for me to be able to do this session with Senator Kalipani Pugeni. I also moved the call or the voice notes by one of the most known broadcasters in Zimbabwe, Billet Magara, where he was criticizing President Idi Mnangagwa in very, very harsh terms. I found it to be very, very interesting. And I think I'll go into that on Monday. So the issue I want to discuss here today is the pending recall of Dr. Thokozani Khuphe from the MDC-T and why it is happening. So if you were watching social media today, there is a letter that is doing the rounds. And this letter is written by people from Dr. Thokozani Khuphe's side who are inquiring from the Secretary General of the MDC-T if they can have the resolutions of the National Council meeting of the 26th of November. And what they're saying in this letter, unfortunately, I can't read it for you. It's too small, and you have to go and read it on gambako.com. What they're saying in this letter, which they've written to the Secretary General, I think it's in Parua, to say during that meeting, it was agreed that, or it was discussed and agreed that Dr. Thokozani Khuphe, people like Kalipani Pugeni, Senator Kalipani Pugeni, they will be recalled. And this is imminent, so the recall is imminent. And they want to see those National Council resolutions. I have also requested 2 weeks ago for those National Council resolutions, maybe not exactly 2 weeks, but somewhere there. And I talked to Witness Dube. Witness Dube said to me, the office of the Secretary General is not going to release those National Council resolutions of that particular day. I've been asking him for a very long time, and he's not provided. However, what I was inquiring about is not the same reason why Dr. Thokozani Khuphe wants these National Council resolutions. The reason why I was inquiring about these resolutions is because a decision was made at that meeting to join POLAD. And that decision was done in a way that is it's a bit controversial, and I don't think everyone is agreed with the joining of POLAD and the subsequent and possible GNU, which will come out of MDC-T joining POLAD. So that decision was made, and I've been chasing everybody in the MDC-T to give me an explanation on what is the implication of formally joining POLAD as the MDC-T of Senator Douglas Monzora. So what I'm going to do is I've got a voice note here, which is about 10 minutes from Witness Dube, where he explained the POLAD issue. So this is the issue here. If there's a fight between Dr. Thokozani Khuphe and Senator Douglas Monzora, it's because there is an impending or an agreed position that the MDC-T is going to join POLAD. And once they join POLAD, it's not going to end there. It's going to go further. So let me play for you the voice note. He explained in very great detail on the issue of POLAD. Then we can wrap it up from there. If Senator Kalipani Pugen hasn't joined, I'll be trying to raise him as we listen to this voice note.
Pardon, what you need to understand is that the MDC-T, in principle, it has always been pursuing the issue of dialogue as a grand strategy, as a strategy of choice. The successive congresses from 2006 have affirmed that dialogue is the best strategy and the best foot forward for the party, which is what led to the the global political agreement in 2008 and subsequently the GNU. This is the approach that we used during COPAC, where we were always trading back and forth in terms of how to capture or to best capture the people's wishes and aspirations, and as far as our constitution was concerned. This is also the same strategy that was used in disposing Robert Mugabe. You'll remember that happened with a very unambiguous participation of the opposition in the war, November 2017 ousting of President Mugabe. He battled under pressure when he knew that MDC-T was going to support the impeachment motion from the House, whether from ZANU PF or from itself. We had always wanted to do that, and when the numbers finally added up, we were never going to miss that opportunity. And that came from dialogue between the two parties that were agreed that it was time for Robert Mugabe to go, which are ZANU PF and MDC-T. So dialogue is a settled grand strategy of the party, which then makes POLAD just a tactic on how to achieve dialogue. And as a party, we have said that we are in principle, we are agreed to the idea of POLAD because it is a tactic or a fulfillment of our grand strategy in dialogue. However, there are things that we want this POLAD, there's a certain formation that we want to see this POLAD assume. We want it to assume the same format that pertained during the GNU days when we were writing the people-driven constitution. So as far as we're concerned, there has to be a vehicle through POLAD or from POLAD, which can then take everything that is discussed in POLAD to Parliament. In other words, there has to be a consummation of what POLAD discusses through Parliament, which is the people's representative body, for execution and also for legalization, because we believe that POLAD is not a body that is vested with authority to make legally binding decisions. It's common cause that it cannot make decisions which are binding to the people of this country. So it then remains a political platform, however, where views, ideas can be traded across a very wide spectrum of political players in this country. And because it has got people who participated in the last elections and any other new political players who want to join in, it is by and large a very representative and cross sectional body of political players in the society. However, it has to accommodate other voices who are not out and out political animals, like civil society, like student bodies, like labor movements, and others. So it is then our submission that POLAD must have a platform that will accommodate these other views. This was what was encapsulated in the National Council resolutions, to say, whilst we agree in principle on POLAD as being a vehicle in the fulfillment of our grand strategy of political engagement, it must expand itself to other voices which are not directly from out and out political players. So these are the issues that we will be submitting to POLAD to say, consider expanding this platform to include these other voices, so that it truly becomes a representative of everybody, not just cross-sectional or a multitude or a majority of our society, but of everybody in our society. So this was the resolution of the National Council, even as advised by the National Executive. We also want POLAD to be sanitized from being overly influenced by, the president of the country. Yes, he was the leading figure in its formation, but we believe that dialogue places all players in the platform on an equal footing. So these are the issues that we want to see, where when it comes to dialogue, the dialogue becomes inclusive, equal, fair, and non-partisan, so that the outcomes meet, the requirements and standards of integrity in terms of how they inform the national political discourse and the national agenda, national developmental agenda, and the national vision. It doesn't have to be one political party shaping everything as it sees, but it has to be truly inclusive and very fair and very accommodating in our view. So in a nutshell, when you talk about POLAD, these are the issues that were considered by the National Council, and what I've said are their submissions which they would want to see being framed and encapsulated in POLAD before the party can fully engage on the issues and on the agenda of POLAD. But in principle, we agreed POLAD is a welcome move, is a welcome platform for discussion, which, however, needs to be enriched in the manner that I've articulated, at least from the point of view of our party.
Right. So, as you can see, the main points of discussion at that meeting, the National Council meeting, was not the recall of Dr. Thokozani Khuphe. And in fact, the biggest issue here at this meeting was the entry of the MDC-T into POLAD. So they have kept this a secret. I do not know why they're keeping it a secret, but the resolution was made. And I do not know how POLAD communicates, because then POLAD should have communicated to say the MDC-T is now part of POLAD. Because if you remember, the candidates were invited. And the candidate at the time was Dr. Thokozani Khuphe. So there need to be proper communication to say, now that MDC-T has joined POLAD, who is going to be the representative? Because Senator Monzora was not a candidate in the 2018 election. So I am sure that this is where the fight is. Who is going to represent MDC-T in POLAD? What is the role of Dr. Thokozani Khuphe? Can she just be out of POLAD to make way for Senator Monzora? It's a very complicated set of issues that are going to arise from the entry of the MDC-T into POLAD. Maybe they might even have to dissolve the whole POLAD and start a new structure from the demands that the MDC-T is making. They want this to be more inclusive. But in the long run, the end result of this could be a GNU and the postponement of the elections. We talked about this a few weeks back. This is what is possibly going to happen. And this is possibly why there's so much fighting. Because people are seeing that if there's a GNU, there are positions in place. And if the guys who are from the Dr. Thokozani Khuphe camp are kicked out, that means more people from Senator Douglas Monzora's camp will be put into parliament, and then they will take positions up in government if they allocated positions in government. So in short, this is what I just wanted to say. I don't know what happened to Senator Kalipani Pugeni, but the fight between Dr. Kupe about the National Council resolutions, it's nothing really, because there's nothing in those National Council resolutions. What is in those National Council resolutions is about POLAD. The decision was made at that National Council meeting to join POLAD. And it has been kept secret, I think, even from the members. I don't think the members know that the decision was made that the MDC-T is going to be in POLAD formally. This was decided. And Witness Dube, he said it here, as we heard. They have made that decision to join POLAD, but they've not communicated it to their whole membership of the MDC-T because they've not released the National Council resolutions in their minutes. And I think it will be very simple. If they release those, you'll see what I mean. The decision was made. The problem is, I think most people find it difficult to read President Mnangagwa. He moves at his own speed. So there's no one who can tell him when to invite anyone, when to announce anything. So even though Senator Douglas Monzora has said in the past that he's willing to work with President Mnangagwa, there's been not much response from President Mnangagwa's side. He has basically kept quiet most of the time. He has not said anything. He has not made any public moves or response to the request by Senator Douglas Monzora to work within the government. So it's difficult even for the MDC-T. From my point of view, I think everyone is confused to say what should be done next. Even if they say they want to join POLAD, how is it going to end up as a real thing that influences policies, that influences events in Zimbabwe? So I'm sure that everyone is confused and they are kept guessing by President Mnangagwa on what he's going to do next. No one knows. Even if the MDC-T was to join POLAD now, if President Mnangagwa will just keep quiet and leave them, what do? They won't know what to do. So these are the issues, not this issue of recalls. I don't think that is the main issue, and I don't think you'll find it inside the resolutions, the National Council resolutions that are being demanded. Anyway, they shouldn't be demanded because if you're part of the National Council, you should be having those minutes anyway. So let's see. They will be released very, very soon. But the interesting issue here is what happens next, because the MDC-T has decided that they're going to join POLAD. Right, let's now look at a few comments here. And I want to see if there's anything interesting. Right, Mark, you're saying it's unconstitutional to have a GNU, and ZANU PF said it already. It's not unconstitutional. ZANU PF has got 2/3 in parliament. They can do whatever they like. And I think most people don't understand this. If ZANU PF wanted to amend the constitution now, they can do it. And especially with the support of the MDC-T. a GNU can happen in Zimbabwe. There's nothing stopping a GNU from happening. And when that GNU happens, they can stretch it up to 2030 if they like. There's nothing stopping the ZANU PF government from doing what they like. And then MDC-T already announced that it's a fake letter. It's not a fake letter. It's a fake letter because it's not written by MDC-T, but you can see that it's written by someone else who is trying to push a narrative. And that's why I'm telling you that the issue here is about POLAD. It's not about the recalls. POLAD is the issue. That's why you have not seen those National Council resolutions. So Joseph, if you have seen the National Council resolutions, send them to me. And then you understand why I'm saying to you that the issue is not about recalls. It's about POLAD. Who is going to be in POLAD between Senator Douglas Monzora and Dr. Thokozani Khuphe, who is going to be the lead for MDC-T? That is the issue. And what happens after? Because once the biggest opposition party is in dialogue with the ruling party, what is next? You have to understand that there are implications there. You can't just sit in rooms discussing. You are now entering a new period where you need to discuss that Zimbabwe has got various problems. We cannot solve them through an election. What do we do next? And that is where exactly this whole thing is going. If the MDC-T is brave enough to release those resolutions and also to publicly say they want to negotiate within a GNU, they need to go into the GNU. Monzora needs to take up a position in government, and you now have opposition and ZANU PF working together. That is probably a solution. And then obviously the next logical thing is to postpone the election. There's no point in having an election when you have a GNU or with the opposition working with the government, especially given the COVID situation. With this current COVID situation, elections are likely to be impossible. If you understand what is happening here in South Africa, what is happening in the UK, and what has started happening in Zimbabwe, you will see that it will probably not be possible to hold national elections to allow people to move all over the country in 2023. If it happens, then a GNU is going to be a big issue. I want to end with Lenny. MDC-T is a big opposition party. Yes, they've got people in parliament. So I'm not talking here about how many people come to a rally. I'm talking about how many people do you have in parliament, how many people do you have in Senate, how many people do you have in the councils. MDC-T of Douglas Monzora is the biggest opposition party as we speak right now in parliament. And then Paulo says ZANU PF can do whatever they want because of the two-thirds majority. That is true. If the MDC-T and ZANU PF work together, they can postpone the elections and they can have a GNU. It is possible. So I want to end it here, and I'm very sorry that my guests did not manage to come, Senator Kalipani Pugeni, but I hope that you gained more from this. The issue that we have is, and what we need to be watching now, is the issue of POLAD. If President Mnangagwa decides to respond to the overtures from MDC-T, we can see something happening very, very soon. The problem we have is, although the MDC-T has been trying to communicate with the President Mnangagwa, he has not been responding. He has not even responded to all the statements that Senator Douglas Monzora made way back, I think when he was in Vic Falls and also when he was in Midland at some point. He has been saying we want to work together, but President Mnangagwa has not responded to them. And now if they formally say they want to join POLAD, I don't know what is going to happen, whether that is going to make a difference. And also, Senator Douglas Monzora has written again another letter to President Mnangagwa to find out or to present their position. So let's see what happens. Those are the actual issues, not the recall of Dr. Thokozani Khuphe. I do not think that is an issue at the moment. Right, that is it for today. And I hope that tomorrow I'll be able to bring my brother Pangane Mhlanga. We need to look at the shootout of which happened in Chadcom of Joseph Nemaisa. He shot 3 people dead, robbers, and there have been many stories around that. So tomorrow we need to have a look. Was that a real thing, or is there something more? So let us look there. Tomorrow we wanna have a look if I can get hold of my brother Pangane Mhlanga. Otherwise, thank you very much to everyone who's been supporting Gambakwe Media, and we'll talk again tomorrow. Good night.
Kuno apo pano mama wanna get it, mama wanna get it nice. I know food I me so, I know food I tebe, I know kaya marigi. Kama kwetu tikom, kwetu tikom uza zaire.
Gambakwe uyo anotara mari anogaya mari garai mamunzwa pane nyaya pano zvamunoda kunzwa zvinotaurwa pano madiko kumunzwa mugovane.com. Gambakwe vanogaya mari, vanotaura mari, vanoziya mari. Gambakwe vanotaura feya kuti pamberi zvichafamba sei, vanomuterere zvikubatsirei mukufamba kwenyu zvikubatsirei. Mirai ndikudze kuti chokwadi pano chizere. Gambakwe vanogaya keshi.